think it's a beautiful performance. I have a few questions for you. So when you play a rondo and the same material comes back several times, have you thought about how you might play it differently, or do you want to play it differently as it returns?
Oh.
Yeah, what solutions have you come up with? You started rather boldly, which, was that intentional? Or
I just
the
didn't
piano
expect the piano to...
It jumped up at you, yeah. Okay, but you fixed it for the second time. Okay. I'm just curious, what could you do with the rondo theme when it comes back, so that we have a sense of narrative, of memory, that is not the carbon copy of the same thing? What could you do?
Well, what I'm thinking is that Beethoven actually writes like some hints in the score. The first time he has the slurs, the high point is on the A, here too, and then the second time...
The slurs or the hairpins?
Hairpins.
The hairpins, yeah.
The second time, the first hairpin is on the A, here, like a little low from there.
I see.
And then the third time, like both times, it's really low.
I see. I hadn't even noticed that, but that's very specific. Is this Henley we're looking at?
No, but I think Henley has this.
Is it the same? Is this Schenker? I can't tell. Oh, it's Breitkopf. It's Breitkopf. Okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah. But what does that mean in practica? That's such a specific thing about where a hairpin leads. This note or the next note. I was thinking either dynamics or voicing. I think traditionally when something returns, whether it's in a recap of a sonata or at the end of the Goldberg variations, typically you don't have to underline moments, details as much. The first time you state something, you have to show us what it is. But perhaps later on in the piece, it's only a 6-minute piece, but later on, perhaps you could just imply or just let it be simpler. I think in general, you could also experiment with the alto, especially when the hairpins start happening. That's another possibility. What do you think? Maybe. All right. Let's go through it. I was sitting over there and I couldn't see your hands, but I thought that they would look like that. Because I hear a rather pesante D. I think with this rhythm, this short, long, this compound meter, I would try to de-emphasize as many downbeats as possible so that we get, this is the rhythm of a barcarolle or a lullaby or a whatever, something that is up here. Your feet don't touch the ground. So I would suggest just treat them as two notes with one gesture. The A is down, the D is up. So there's a sense of lilt. Can you do it without, I don't mind the pedal, but could you do it without pedal just so we can voice? Yeah, but don't stop. Keep it all moving. It's a circular motion. I don't want to, the D will be there. I mean, that's the whole, this is a kind of a mirror or yin-yang of the first movement, isn't it? Even to the point of, it's even the 5 notes, the 5-note thing that binds the whole piece together, right? They just sit each other. Let's not spend a lot of time on it, but I think this is a very important issue. Whenever you have this kind of rhythm, you want to make it a little more balletic. Do it again. Circular motion so that the pinky is never at the bottom of the key. Okay, now pedal suggesting if your wrist is below the keyboard, make a little circle. Make a continuous circle. Don't stop. You play the keys. With the wrist. Move with the wrist. And this one. Yeah. I'm not advocating anything major. It's just for you. It's not for looks. But I think it's important that the rhythm is in your body, especially with a piece like this. That as well, all over. Once again. Let's do tempo now. Why do you pedal, by the way? Why do you pedal this?
I feel like it gives a more watery sound.
Watery, so you think it's a barcarolle?
Yeah.
I see. I was thinking just more of a drone, a bagpipe of some kind. Or, can you try this without pedal and see if you like it? When you start, you even start with a clenched wrist. Start with it's a breezy, casual piece, It's not serious. Good. But make sure that it's not an equal voicing. I think he could have written so the syncopation. To me, it's a little too direct. Can you approach a little bit with a slower attack? Maybe forward. Make your arm go forward. So again, you take care of these two notes with the same gesture. Inflect. Just be interested in the contour. It's a little flat with the way you play. I suggested a little more alto. Another way to say it is just the tonic dominant oscillation, right? Just a little bit more for the dominant, maybe. You moved through these bars a little bit, right? I would probably do the opposite because of the hairpins and because of the rising nature of the line after these descending things. What if you feel just a little resistance of the rising interval? Two notes with both hands. I think you need to pay attention to the last two notes of the right hand, so that it has a little more sound and so that they're rhythmically even. There was a kind of compression. And you're listening harmonically, which is great. But I think I need to hear. It's an interesting pattern. Try not pedaling to the floor. Maybe. Roll your hands through experiment with different. I thought the way you played it was just a little bit too heavy. You know? As well as your climax, I think. Only forte. Maybe bring out the thumb. Remember, in general, in the piece, I think all movements, there are dark clouds that appear. In this movement, it's basically genial until the middle section, till the C section, right? And also the first movement. Right? Both themes are rather similar in character. It's that you get the fire and the storm and the development, right? To give the piece balance in terms of character. But make sure that fortes don't get too intense. You know, it's a different forte, different fortissimos than the appassionata. It's up to you to establish the color of the dynamics and what they mean in context of this piece. Not all fortes are created equal, right? And it's different than it might be in the Mephisto waltz, for example. Okay, so again, in the second theme, I like that you're listening harmonically, but I'm not sure that that's the point here. I think the point is the imitation. I'd like to hear the entrances. And I thought the pedal obscured that a little bit. Can you adjust the pedal so that we can hear three voices? And avoid strong beats. I still hear quarters. I hear da. It just sounds a little too French to me. Let the piano not be too fuzzy. I think it's a coloristic thing. You know? It's such a dolce register. Just play a healthy piano. Not too much pedal. Next. Good. Good. And then capriccioso. You play these absolutely rhythmically, which is nice. What if they were started just a little bit late? So that the variant is a little more playful. You know what I mean? Rather than that. Yeah, you'll have to practice it for it if you want to do that for it to sound natural. Another possibility comes to mind. Speaking of distorting a rhythm, what am I doing? That's number one. This is number two. What am I doing differently?
I feel like the second time, we're coming a little bit later on the beat, like taking sort of doing.
Or this is A. This is B. I'm making the eighth notes a little bit late. Rather than ba, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have no time to do anything, but you might experiment with that. Sometimes I call it distortion, not so that it becomes something like a funhouse mirror, but so that the rhythm's characteristics, it more resembles itself. This rocking motion, this feeling of undulating, of pulses, you know. It's a rather sophisticated concept, and if you do it poorly, it sounds like you have bad rhythm. So it's a dangerous thing to bring up, but I think you're good enough to experiment with it. So it's about making the long note longer and the short note shorter. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. keep your wits about you when you get to these forte places. Again, because it's pastoral, right? Maybe a little less pedal. I don't think this is stormy yet. What do you think? It's joyous. It's visceral. Maybe a little more of the pinky. I heard a lot of thumb, which is natural. But see if you can get a more active. I don't mean to slow you down. Let's do your tempo. Maybe if you shape that. You know, in order for the sforzandi to be effective, I wouldn't crescendo into them. If you crescendo for a sforzando, it doesn't sound like a sforzando. It's this. It's never going to be. It's up. That sounds a little too dainty. 14. Shape. 14. Why do you play the second one less? The second 14. You did that both times. Isn't that an intensification of something? Please say yes. Yes. It's not a resolution. It's not an end of anything. It's a expectation. What's the use your arm. Thank you. It'll be more reliable if you can also start your motion before, especially if you want it to be soft and special. It's much easier to control the descent of this than it is this. I mean, it's possible, but I think your life is going to be so much easier if you can cultivate the use of the larger levers, as I call them, and not so much of that. Let's keep going. This was very good. Can you play from there? Since you have a pianissimo coming up, I would play with a little bit more sound here. I think the piano was a normal dynamic for Beethoven. It wasn't, I think, like in Debussy or something. It's not a secretive confessional thing. I think just play healthy. He's not a little too. Can it be breezy and not so? Again, I would take these. One move. Good. Yeah. It's not Morse code. Pedal a little bit. Excessively, too many short notes can wear out their welcome, for me at least, very quickly. I think in this register, add just a little halo of pedal, if you wish, so that it doesn't sound just like a carbon copy. That didn't sound like a subito pianissimo. Don't you think it's a subito? Yeah, I think. Whatever it is, just make it softer. You want to chord maybe? basically it's good. That was better than the first time. The first time I thought there was too much arriving, but this was nice. I thought you made a longer line. No. Don't forget your sforzandi. Is that time? My last piece of advice, to make the sforzandi, especially in the extreme bass, try, rather than wait, try a more compact motion that's the wrist forward a little bit. Yeah, so it's about the beginning of the note having a slight sting to it. It's not about a big boomy thing, because it's too much, I think. It covers up the right hand, and it's a fine line between this contrast that we need, but you don't want to overdo it, you know. And the scales are beautifully played, but can they be just a little bit more legato? He doesn't write that, does he? But he doesn't write a legatura or anything. But I probably would play them a little bit more fluidly. Yeah. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.